Hello, Belbar here, and now it's time for another Belbar quick take. So recently I saw the new film Morbius. I'm gonna first start this with my non-spoiler review of the movie. Then I'm gonna go into spoilers for both Morbius as well as talking a little bit about um, Venom 1 and Venom 2. So just a warning, so my non-spoiler review first. So as non-spoiler review, it's not a great movie. It's pretty bad. The pacing is weird. It it sort of ends abruptly. Um, no one does a great job. I think Matt Smith does an okay job, and that's about it. Besides that, no one's doing their best work. And this is not really the fault of any of the actors or actresses in the film. It's more or less a result of the writing. And in order to discuss the writing a bit more and why this is sort of an issue disconnect, I'm going to have to go into spoilers. So, want to go away? Go away now. I'll give you five. So five, four, three, two, one. Let's do this. So let's go a little bit of spoilers for both Morbius as well as for Venom 1 and Venom 2. And the reason why Venom 1 and Venom 2 are important is because of the fact that it sort of drives a direction which I think it led to a lot of the issues in Morbius. Now, personally, I actually enjoyed both the first two Venom movies. I think sort of the first Venom movie isn't great. It has it's a pretty good 90s style rom com with a really bad horror movie attached to a really bad action movie attached to it. But overall, it's pretty good. And Venom 2 really sort of hones in on the good aspects of the first Venom movie, as in sort of the rom com aspects and sort of the breakup rom com. You might have sort of the rom com sequels where the couple sort of breaks temporarily, realizes that they're better off together, and then come back together and uses the juxtaposition with the villains of the movie, which is Shriek and both Shriek and Carnage and Cassius, as sort of the opposite of what a healthy-ish relationship that needs to be formed through the characters using the term symbiote in much more literal sense of a symbiotic relationship. And so, how does it affect the storyline of Morbius, you might ask yourself? And the way that it affects the storyline of Morbius is that it's very clear that the, either the studio executives or someone in the production process of Morbius saw that, hey, there is an actual audience for this style of action superhero movie where we can tell a very sort of different story, i.e., romantic comedy, and sort of slap on a superhero aesthetic to it and really sort of tell it well. And they try to apply a very similar thing to that of Morbius. And if you actually see the movie Morbius, you might be confused what I'm talking about because the movie's very confusing. And really what it is the fact that it wants to establish this sort of relationship between Jared Leto's Morbius character and Matt Smith's Milo character. And it really wants to tell the sort of very sort of gay love story, but it also at the same time wants to constrain itself to a more traditional vampire story. The sort of vampire structure of this person's a monster, they're going around killing, eating people, and you really see this in the way Matt Smith's Milo character, in a sort of very crucial piece of dialogue where he goes, "Hey, this is who we are," like and Morbus isn't accepting who he is and all that stuff, and there's a very sort of clear subtext to it. But one of the problem is that when you apply these sort of subtextual aspects to a narrative like this, when you go, this person is a monster and is clearly murdering people, your metaphor and what the action being shown on screen clash dramatically. And it's really clear that the creators of this film couldn't really solve this very sort of clear clash in the dynamics that you could do very easily in something like a Venom. Where in Venom, this sort of clash is really simple to solve because, yeah, there's an action going on, but the real core romantic comedy is between these two characters who are really sort of sharing screen time the entire time. Well, in Morbus, you don't get this. Like, you don't get this sort of catharsis of this clash and sort of relationship aspect of it. And it's really unclear at what point did they, one, try to take the Venom method over to Morbus, and at what point did they try to remove it, or was it some sort of this sort of massive failure in pre-production? And it's very clear about this that this all has happened in pre-production in the script writing phase, and not really in the actual movie film, because the actual filming of the movie itself is fine, the acting is fine. And that is my bye-bye quick take.